All right, hello and welcome back to Rebound with Resilience, a podcast dedicated to raise your resilience, mindset, and mental wellness. And today I'm joined by an extremely successful yet humble individual, Vanessa Ho. Vanessa,
Hi
thanks for
everyone.
taking. Yes,
Thanks
hello.
for having me.
Yes, thanks for taking time off your busy schedule. So I think most people will watching this will really know who you are, but because of my listeners, or just like maybe five of them, right? I will just give an introduction of you. Okay, so Vanessa is a millennial pursuing a slash career, which means she's someone pursuing multiple streams of income from multiple passions and skills. Right? She's an entrepreneur, influencer, content creator, actress, model, DJ, host, and writer. And if that doesn't already surprise you, on top of all that, she's also studying business at NUS. Right? And despite her success at a young age, she's really humble and eager to give back, and even willing to come on a small podcast like this. So that's what really
Come
stood out
on,
for me.
Kevin, you're overselling me.
No, I really don't think so, because no, really, because I'm just really impressed and amazed at the things you're doing. I'm looking forward to learning from you today, for sure. Um,
Awesome. So what can we expect for this podcast today?
Sorry? Oh, what? Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, you're really asking me questions. Yes. We are gonna, at the outline of this podcast, I would say that just exploring your passions, how you nurture them, develop them, your journey in Star Search, and as well as, your current commitments and how in the world do you manage like 1,001 things, and whether or not you do have enough time to sleep. Uh, but yes, okay, so I guess we'll begin. I think many people know you as a very confident, established individual. But I'd like to find out, when you were in upper primary, secondary school, right? How were you like as a student, and what influenced your discovery of your passions and talents?
Okay, so back in secondary school, I was from Ngee Secondary, which is kind of neighborhood, but kind of a more privileged neighborhood school.
Okay.
I mean, since Sec 1 till Sec 4, I was quite academically focused. I
Mm,
studied like crazy, very, very competitive. Um, Funny enough, I had a boyfriend in secondary school already, and I always competed with him academically. Always wanted to be
mm,
first in class. Always wanted to one up everybody in class. So
mm.
very competitive spirit. Always needed to be on top. And then but now of course tables have turned, and I've became focused on things out of
Mhm.
academy. And so I was very competitive, but I was also experimenting on quite a few things. I was in quite a lot of science competitions actually. I mean, I'm
Really?
not doing
Oh,
science now.
okay.
Yeah, so I represented the school in a couple of competitions. And then in Sec 4, that was when I started the new paper new face. That was back in
Mm,
2015, and I was 15 turning 16. I mean, throughout secondary school, I never thought about anything else but school. Was quite a
mm,
nerdy kid, honestly.
sure.
So this was a huge jump for me from Sec 1 to Sec 4 to start modeling, which is a completely new personal imaging and branding.
Mm.
As you can perceive, lah, someone with goofy glasses and long skirts below the knee to suddenly doing a runway, complete 360 change.
Wow. Okay. I'm actually really surprised by that. Like, I was gonna ask, like, what motivated you to take part in the new paper, new face, and I believe you're one of the youngest contestants at that time,
Yeah,
or
I
the
think I was the second youngest one. There's even someone who's 1 year younger, which is amazing.
right.
Um, what motivated me? I mean, I never really had a dream of, oh, I want to be a model. Not in my wildest dreams at all. Never thought that I could be cut out for it. But this decision to join, which came about from chancing upon a newspaper ad on Straits Time, right,
Yeah.
changed my life because I always believe that one thing leads to another. Even if this one step doesn't lead to my eventual goal, right, this leads to like maybe 10 different doors open, eventually
Mm-hmm.
more and more and more. It's a ripple effect. um and so I think I just wanted to try something new, step out of my comfort zone and just challenge myself to try something. I think it
Sure.
was quite a stupid decision. I mean, I would not recommend it to anybody because it was my O levels year. Prelim season that was during the same time as new phase finals, and my friends had a tough time coming down to support me when everyone was studying for prelims. Would
Sure.
not recommend to Sec 4 students or
Yeah.
A level students.
Okay, but
um yeah, but it was
Sure,
really fun. I think it pushed me to grow up a bit faster than a lot of my peers at 15, 16 years old, because
sure.
after that I started doing event jobs that got me to network with people who are like double my age as well.
But it's kind of hard for me also to visualize because, like you said, as a kid focused on school to modeling, which is putting yourself out there, right? It was just
Yeah.
a decision
I
like
think it's
that.
just YOLO. It's just YOLO. Like, I mean, why not? It's always not like,
That's
why
insane.
should
Oh,
like when
okay,
I see an opportunity, it's not like, why should I not do this? What could go wrong? But it's always like, why not?
okay, and that worked well for you. In maybe I'll ask about the experience for you. Like I know you have to juggle your O levels, but like being involved in the media and having to model, was it like intimidating at first, or you just got used to it?
I think I think it was quite intimidating because there are so many people who are older, more experienced, and definitely super beautiful in modeling.
Mm,
And I think the most intimidating factor was because everyone was taller, and I know that the modeling scene, you have to rise above the rest,
okay,
literally in terms of
sure.
height.
Okay.
Being 165 back then, still haven't finished puberty. It was really scary because I always felt a bit more inferior than the other models who've done commercials before, who've done runways, and done pageants, and I was just wow, like I have no idea what I was doing. Put on
Sure.
my first pair of heels, put on my first pair of contact lens, fresh new experiences, but it kind of accelerated my growth. And I mean, after that one experience and challenge, right, I think picking up new things from then on didn't feel as
Mm,
scary. So I think I just
sure.
needed to push myself to like the deep edge of the water, right?
Right.
And everything else, like challenging myself in other field, wasn't as scary as anymore.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's an amazing lesson for youth as well. I go to schools to share, right? And a lot of them are very fearful of stepping out of their comfort zone. And the fact that you did so, that led also to studying in commercial. So you went to JC. You did well, you went to JC, even despite that.
Yeah, I did Victoria Junior College. I was
Yes.
there for 2 years, but even so, I wasn't academically focused at all. So I mean, I was like full time doing other things, part time student, which I would not recommend. I mean, I was just
Okay.
lucky that perhaps I can last minute study. I could memorize things faster.
Mm.
But I do not recommend this to people because I mean, school's still important.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, you were, like you said, modeling, studying commercials, and you also modeled at the Winter Olympics, right? During that year.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, JC was A
uh
level, yeah.
JC, well, 2 years of JC was quite crazy. In year one, I was doing radio competition called 987 Stars. So
Yeah.
every Friday, literally for the last math lesson, right, I would leave early or I would just skip class, and
Mm,
I legit do sacrifice a bit of hours in terms of studying.
okay.
I mean, I did fairly alright because in year one, I think I studied quite religiously, and in year two when I did other stuff, I had my foundations there, but I
Okay.
did sacrifice some of my CCA time. I was in hockey, which was a high commitment CCA. We are like 15 years championship. And if you don't get championships again, you will be hated by the rest of school. So I was in the most scary and intimidating CCA, which I don't
Right.
know why I signed up for it. Radio competition was one thing that helped me push myself to be a better speaker. And also eventually become a host. And then in year two, in year one, I was also in Face of Asia, which is a modeling competition as well. Did the Singapore version, went on to do the Asia version
Mm,
in year two. And then I started picking up modeling more seriously in terms of commercials, and events and shows and
sure.
many more.
Okay.
So I think how do I manage all
Manage
this,
it,
which
yeah.
which sounds quite crazy because VJC is not like
It
a
is.
screw
Yeah.
around kind of school. I guess I mean, it's when it's crunch time to study, it's really crunch time. So before A levels, the 2 months, it was purely focused. I didn't take on external jobs after that. But when it's time to try different things, then I think it's time to be experiential. So I guess it's having different crunch times for different things.
Okay. Right. And being present and like focusing at different intervals, lah, I would say. Okay.
Yeah, like
And
segmentation is important.
sure. That's yeah, something I'm still having trouble with, but I'm sure you do it really well, and you really had experience from secondary JC, which now kind of explains why you also are in this process of doing it. But I would like to ask that, like those skill sets, and you were DJing as well. Was it a time that you also picked up DJing?
Oh, DJing was during my break between JC and uni. So I
Mm,
had, you
okay.
had the 8 months break, which is very which is pretty long, and I did a small internship that barely took out any time because it was very simple. Wasn't a very challenging internship. So someone asked me whether I wanted to start learning, and I had a bit of music experience from playing keyboard. So it was a very
Mm,
easy transferable skills.
mm.
Completely a passion job, not planning to make it a career, but just for fun. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And how do you, because youth, right, they discover their talents, right, but they don't necessarily have the fortitude or the means to actually nurture it and like make it a skill, right, from a talent to a skill. Like, how was this process for you? Did you read, listen to stuff, do you research stuff, especially when it comes to modeling or different things that you were pursuing at that time, like radio and stuff like that?
Well, I never really thought about how to take it seriously as a career or to monetize it, right? I
Mm,
think the passion always comes first. So, I mean, I was genuinely interested in speaking, and that's why radio, and I was genuinely interested of performance and showmanship, and that's why modeling and acting and many
okay.
more. I think once the foundation of that is built up, right, you
Mm,
can think about how to make it into a professional career after that. So
sure.
what my artist management at MediaCorp always say, get your skill, hone your skill first, hone your craft. The money comes after. All the commercials
Okay.
and engagement opportunities come after. So first step is to build out your foundation and your skill set, and it should be something that you're very passionate about, and then
Okay.
think about how to make it take it seriously after.
Sure, and I believe holding your skill set won't come naturally because you're passionate about it. You can seek ways to improve it, lah. It's not something you
Exactly.
consciously think about. Okay, right. So I think that's a good transition to, I guess, your star search journey is where you honed your skills in different areas. That was also when you're already in university, and again, needed to ask you what I'd like to ask you what prompted you to take part in Star Search, even though I kind of really know your answer, but was there any fear given that you shared that your command of Chinese weren't strong and you're quite clueless about
Yeah.
acting? Yeah.
Yeah, so just a background for some of you guys who don't really watch Channel 8. I mean, I don't honestly.
Okay.
Channel 8 to me is associated with my parents' generation, but of course,
Okay.
support local shows, right?
Yeah.
um, yeah, but it's an acting competition, but it's all encompassing to the performance, to showing yourself as an artist, dancing, and many more. It's a competition that ran since I don't know 1990s or
Yeah.
something,
It's quite
or 1980s.
established.
I don't quite know. And then they took a 9 years break, and then when they started it again, that was last year. I joined it. Of the producers, I think found me online and
Oh,
asked me whether I wanted to
okay.
audition. The audition was crazy. It was 6 hours long of queuing and really scary because
Mhm.
there were so many people who were really good, very experienced, very passionate, and I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I wasn't sure. I don't think I signed up to be an actress. Acting wasn't really in my game plan.
Okay.
But I tried it. I was like, oh, YOLO again,
Yeah.
why not try? Whether I take it seriously or not as a career is another thing. Just try lah. Why
Mm,
not meet some people or learn a new skill?
sure.
Yeah. So the most intimidating part was my command of Chinese, which was super super trash. Like now, if you ask me to speak Chinese, I think it's still a bit better, but work in
Right.
progress. But
Okay.
back then, I look back at my first ever appearance on TV when they interviewed me backstage. During the interview, I would laugh and be embarrassed and want to bury a hole because it was
Mm,
so bad. It's so bad.
yeah.
But I think it was just a leap of faith. And regardless, I didn't think of what I needed it to turn it into. I didn't think of ROI. I
Sure.
just thought of like just trying something new. And I mean, maybe I had the privilege of time because I mean, year one, I was okay. Now I'm turning 21 this year, right? So last year I was turning 20. I have the privilege of time to try different things, so nothing to lose, honestly.
Okay. Appreciate you giving that context as well. That was my job, but thanks for picking that up. I'd like to ask, I know you were mentored by a seasoned actress, right, Huang Biren. Was there anything
Yes.
about her, that stood out for you? Was there any specific moment that impacted you in a way?
Wow, she is such a role model, very, very inspiring. I mean, not just her, but Christopher Lee and Chen Hanwei, all three mentors are amazing. Not just because they are great actors, which is no doubt. Like judging
Mm,
how many awards they have garnered,
yeah.
it's very, very obvious. But also the resilience to keep learning, I would say that is very, very inspiring. Like even
Mm,
though they've acted for decades, right? they always say that they're still constantly learning. Like Huang Biren, she sent me pictures of her reading a Chinese book, even though she is so good at Chinese, so good at what she does, but she's
Mm.
still learning. So this never stop learning mentality was something that really inspired all of us. And she also had a lot of patience because my group was someone who were made of people who are a bit weaker in Mandarin,
Okay.
and she was very patient with us, and she always say, okay, like no worries, even though you are at a disadvantage compared to other teams, right? It's you can make it out in other ways. So
Okay.
she was always very patient with us, with regards to that. And I think through the way she is so professional in her work, that
Mm.
she turns up early. She makes sure she does her warm-ups, her vocal warm-ups before a
Mm.
show. She still continually learn about Chinese and acting skills, even when she's so seasoned already.
Right.
I really think that I aspire to be, to always, no matter how old and how experienced I am, to never stop learning. So that was really inspiring.
Right. It's inspiring listening to you as well, like the dedication to their craft despite the real success that they have and just that continued hunger for learning. Yeah, something I guess we all could kind of take away from. And of course, Star Search is a widely watched program. Like you said, it's an established a show and an intense competition. Was there any pressure to perform or that fear of judgment while you were going through the competition?
Um, I think not just the on-stage shows that gave me a lot of pressure, right? I think it was everything else because for an entire 6 months, I think from June to December, you're literally watched by media every step of the way. They
Yeah.
were very cautious of how you present yourself in public because, at the point in time, the media picked up of it. English and Chinese media picked up this competition, had regular interviews with us, watched us on Instagram, watched us even when we're shopping outside. So it was
Mm.
like constantly being watched, and we had to be on our best behavior throughout the 6 months. And then we had interviews throughout. So I feel like I could handle the onstage performance quite okay because it's nothing new for me. But the off stage in terms of interviews, I think I was really, really intimidated because I knew Chinese was very subpar. I think I
Mm.
was one of the worst views in Mandarin. And then there were traditional Chinese media like, your Zhao Bao, your Wan Bao, all these media coming down to interview me. And I thought that, okay, maybe my answers weren't good enough and weren't fluent enough. They might not put in a good word for me and people won't like me. So it's always thinking of, oh my gosh, how do I get people to like me and how do
Mm.
I do a good job even off stage?
Sure.
And also being very careful with how I present myself at the entire 6 months, online, offline, was quite a bit of pressure.
Okay.
Um, and I think, but honestly, I think it really helped that the environment was very, very helpful.
Mm.
I mean, the management itself was quite overbearing sometimes. I gotta admit, I hope they're not listening to this. Sometimes they do put a lot of pressure to be perfect, I guess. But
Mm.
the friends that I've made, the all top 24 of us, right? We're all very chill. No one's trying to compete at each other to be on top.
Mm.
No one's trying to put each other down to rise
Right.
to the top. And um, it was a very friendly competition. No one joined it to win, or even if they did, right? No one made it very obvious. And it was a very supportive environment. I had a bunch of friends who were really by my side to teach me Chinese and correct me in Chinese, and even set aside time after or before training to run
Mm.
through the dances with me or the scripts with me when I'm falling a bit short. So
Mm.
I really benefited from this very strong support system. And I think it goes back to what you're doing. By being an advocate for strong mental resilience, because I
Mm.
understand the importance of a support group.
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for sharing that. Like social support is one huge factor in resilience that perhaps sometimes people take for granted or they don't realize is they think it's just about internal strength. But seeking support is also really important. Anyone listening to this, it's from even hearing from Vanessa, right? She's already so confident and she talks about the importance of it as well. Of course, you did well enough to win the breakthrough award. You took home
Don't know how that
ten
happened, honestly. I feel
thousand
like it's some bad luck.
dollars. Yeah, you took back $10,000 in a trip to Korea, and you also treated everyone to Hai Di Lao, which is also how I first got to know about you. I think Mothership ran a story, and I was like, wow, that's really commendable.
Oh
And
yeah, I think there was 8 News or Today or well, yeah, I think there were two magazines that wrote about it, which is like free publicity for Hai Di Lao. Even though to me, I was internally simmering that, oh my god, I spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars at Hai Di Lao every single month, and then
right. Okay, okay. But why do you decide to do that though? I mean, it's just, yeah,
I think, wow, okay, bagging the breakthrough award thing. Honestly, I feel like the most undeserving person in the whole batch because I think, yeah, I guess I only managed to win it because I started from dirt shit level,
yeah,
trash level below everybody else to maybe
right.
like somewhat normal standard, and maybe the gap in improvement was so much more stark than someone who came in really good and then they became a bit better.
Okay,
But the thing is, they are much better. Like in terms of the final endpoint, right? In terms of acting in Mandarin and showmanship, right? No doubt they are perhaps better than me. But I guess people notice the improvement, and
sure.
I think that's why they call it the Breakthrough Award.
Okay,
And why I decided to treat everybody is because I'm really grateful for them. You know, I think I owe a lot of my success in Star Search and my improvement and learning because of these people as well. Without them, I mean, solely based on the trainings that they provide us, which is pretty good already, I would not been able to learn as much without the other 23 of them who really helped me
okay,
along the way.
sure. All right, thank you for sharing about your journey. I think that wraps up this segment. And we're gonna move and transition into your current commitments. So yeah. So uh so yes, you're a student university. It's hard to comprehend that, but you are a student. And on LinkedIn, you write, I think your first message is, why be just a student when you can be so much more, right? So
Yes.
yes, yes. So I want to talk about this. Actually, this slash career, when I was researching this podcast, right, I came across this term. I've never actually, interestingly, never come across this term slash career. For listeners or viewers, right, it's a term that's popular. I don't mind, Vanessa, I give some context to this.
Yeah, of course.
So this term is popularized by Marcy Boher in her book, One Person, Multiple Careers. So that slash represents your slash in between your description of your career. Lah. For example, like Vanessa, right? She's an entrepreneur, host, writer, actor. So that slash in between. And why is it valuable as a person that makes multiple streams of income from multiple careers? And the book, have you read the book, by the way? I'm just curious.
No, not.
I've not either, but I actually read the summary, and it says that they have multiple interviews of people who have fulfilling slash careers in the modern world of work, and why this is actually desirable, especially in a very disruptive world that we live in today. So I'd like to ask you, right, was there any point where you decided that, okay, I want to pursue, or rather, why are you pursuing this slash career, and what is the value of it?
Wow, I think everything, a lot of things comes by chance. And really, one thing leads to another. Sometimes I go a bit crazy and overboard with the things I sign up to. I think it's not for everybody, but
Hmm.
I guess I'm just never like comfortable or settled in any one thing. I was never comfortable with just doing modeling because I'll be like, oh my god, what else can I do next? What else can I try next? And I think I wanted a very steep learning curve for me. And I mean, before turning 21, I just want to expose myself to as many fields and options as possible, and even as
Okay.
many people as possible. And when opportunities present themselves, I will always be, yeah, why not as usual? But I also seek out for different opportunities to grow myself even further. And some of the investments that I make, right, example, DJing, may not have immediate ROI, you know.
Hmm.
They might seem like, oh, just a waste of time, or it's a very toxic environment in nightlife. But there are benefits that will come by after that. And you can only find out when you're in it itself. You
Hmm.
wouldn't know from the get-go that, okay, this will lead me to this amount of money or this amount of network, this amount of jobs. But it's more like you experiment first and discover and try a bit. But also with the mentality that if this doesn't work out, it's okay. You
Hmm.
know, there's no fear of failure. I'm
Okay.
okay if I never made it to top models. I'm okay if I lose some jobs because I'm not good enough. I mean, of course, I'll try to be the best, but I'm also not afraid of failure, and that's why I don't mind pursuing something that is completely foreign to me. Um, and also knowing that the value that I gain out of school, right, in terms of the
Hmm.
network and the experience, would be far more valuable than just being a straight A student in school. So I think I'm someone who knows that. I mean, if I put my hours into it, I think I can do decently well in school. But I know that that's not to it. That's not life. That's not life. You know, life is all about experimenting and also experiences out of school. So I really wanted to be more holistic with my
Sure.
life before 21.
Yeah. And I think also a talk by Eric, and he wrote
Yes,
about,
Eric Sim, yes.
yes, Eric Sim, right? And he spoke about being a Renaissance man or woman, right? And you wrote about it on LinkedIn as well. Um,
Yes.
yeah, it's like multiple skills. And what are some unlikely synergies between the different work that you do? I mean, of course, there's some obvious synergies, and like you said, one thing does lead to certain opportunities. But are there any unlikely synergies or things that surprised you?
Wow, yes, actually a lot of surprises, especially lately when I just joined NUS Angel Ventures as a co-founder or management partner. So we basically bridge Southeast Asia startups with NUS alumni, investors and mentors. So some of the unlikely synergy come about because of all the media stuff that I do, this whole influencer thing,
Yeah,
and perhaps a bit stronger personal branding and in terms of reach,
yeah.
right? It was easier for me to find angel investors to come on board. And
Mm,
also people start coming to me first before me reaching out to them. And I'm really, really surprised because just before this podcast, where I was speaking to someone who dropped me a message on LinkedIn saying he saw my video at Sunji Matsu, which is a salon that we both go to, on the
sure.
screen when he was washing his hair. And that's how he was like, oh, this person looks familiar. Time
Okay.
to, and he saw that I was doing NUS Angel Ventures and then decided to drop me a message. So this kind of like crazy things that you don't expect to happen because it's
Okay.
like one thing leads to another, but they're completely different worlds apart.
Sure.
Other synergy that happen, I think a lot of job opportunities that I don't think I will be able to have will only come about because I dip my toes in a couple of things. But I
Okay.
would like to say that, like, just to be very, very transparent, everybody, that I'm not good at any one thing. I'm not a
Mm,
great model. I'm not a great teacher. I'm not a great business woman or entrepreneur. I'm just a bit of everything. But what I want to be in the future, right? I mean, I know this is straying a bit off topic, but to be good at one thing, and then after everything else could be just maybe
mm,
a medium level of expertise. But I just want
sure.
to have a strong expertise in one thing, which I don't think I've developed yet.
Right. Do you have any idea what that one thing might be as of now?
Hopefully business. I think,
Mm,
I mean, doing this whole influencer thing, media, content creation, writing, everything all around media, right, and
yeah.
entertainment, they are fulfilling to me. But I can't see myself doing that in the long run because I'm always thinking, oh my gosh, when I'm 40 and wrinkly, nobody wants me anymore. And like, you don't want to be following like um someone with stretch marks and wrinkles and dark spots, right? So I'm just thinking, okay, long-term plan, right? What do I want to do? What is something that's very stimulating?
Mm,
I think just posing and acting and all that are fun for now, but they're not very stimulating in the long run.
mm,
And I think business would be something that would be very, very exciting because times are always
sure.
changing. I feel like I'm I'm always learning about new things and pushing myself further. So I
Cool.
think business is something that I want to get better
Got
and
it.
stronger in.
That's nice. So I guess we can transition and talk about entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
You founded two companies, right? A winter wear rental service, Igloo Wear,
Yes.
providing fashion-forward jackets for travelers from the tropics, and also Everywhere, a fashion rental subscription service that aims to promote sustainability in fashion via a sharing economy. Yeah, I'd like to ask, what was the process of starting and running these companies like?
Wow. Okay. So Eagle Wears was my first baby. So before this was something called Dress Up, which I sat on for 2 years. Let me tell you the story of that. I think it's a bit more interesting. But Dress Up is a C2C rental platform for clothes. Think
Okay.
Carousel, but rental basis for clothes, like clothes shopping. But I realized the margins was too small and I killed the idea. But how I started it was to solve my own problems. So I
Mm,
basically had a movie premiere for my first ever acting job that I did, and I had no clothes and I borrowed clothes from my friends. Then I realized that besides me having this issue of, wanting my friends' clothes and not having enough clothes to wear, there's also the problem of sustainability.
mm,
And other people, other girls like me, also face the same issue. They're not rich enough to spend on clothes every single occasion, but they also want to dress up and feel confident. I think there's a transfer of confidence and looking good from external to like internal as well. And
mm,
then I joined pitch competitions for the idea. And then one thing led to another, and I won myself a grant, which is called the Cambridge Entrepreneurship Award. So it's a 10K grant Yeah, another 10K, right? My aim is to get one of these 10K awards every single year. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so I won that, and then I transited to
Mm.
eagle wear, which is narrowing down this idea of dress up, which is just all fashion, to just winter wear, which I thought was a bit more passive in terms of managing it as a student entrepreneur, and also solving a real need in the tropics. So the key thing of starting out everything was to solve a problem.
Right.
And then everywhere was really by chance. Also, another unexpected surprise was because I was talking to Refresh founder Aloysius Singh about renting a space in all his stores. He has 11 outlets in Singapore, and I wanted a rack in each store to put my winter wear during the winter season. And he wasn't very interested in working with me for Igloo, maybe because he didn't see any profits that are sizable enough for him to consider.
Okay.
But he actually asked me and my co-founder Marcus, which I met him in JC, very, very close friend of mine, to actually be co-founders for this startup idea that he has, which is pretty similar. He wanted to do fashion rental subscription, kind of like Style Theory, but a lower price point for local and regional brands. And I was like, what? I came to pitch to you to partner with me for a different idea, but you say, kill this idea. I want you to be a co-founder for my idea. And I was shocked. So I went through the business proposal, and I thought, okay, this is something I'm really passionate about. It's something related to fashion, has a lot of synergy with Eagle Wear, so why not join him
Okay.
as a co-founder? Right now, because of COVID, we're kind of at a standstill right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was how I started both the companies. Interesting stories to me.
Okay. And what were some challenges like in the learning curve for you when you were starting it?
The challenges, I think, is largely time management. I think because I sign up for too many things, sometimes I overcommit and underdeliver. So I think I don't think I've really overcome it until now. I'm still having issues with managing my time and making sure I'm on time for everything. I can really put in my hours and 100% everything. So it's something I'm still trying to work on.
Got it. That said, I think you do it well, probably better than most people. And that leads to a bit of irony, but that leads to the next question, which is how do you manage multiple commitments? And yeah, do you have any framework or principles that you practice that helps you to work smart that you could share with us?
I think, okay, let's start with the first question. How do I manage multiple commitments, right? I think um, compared to people of my age, I mean, I don't recommend this for everybody because it's just me, right? I save a lot of time by cutting down a lot of like leisure activities, because my leisure activities to me is meeting people, my friends, and even networking. To me, that gives me pleasure and joy already. So I don't watch TV. I can't remember the last time I watched a TV show. I don't even watch my own shows, which I think I should start. I don't play any mobile games. I don't have a single mobile phone game in ever. No computer games. I save a lot on this kind of time, but honestly, I waste a lot of time, going clubbing, going parties, drinking, going for events. I mean, I waste time in those kind of things, but I do get something out of it, which is like fun and networks also. But in terms of like little thrills that people do, like watching K-drama, I save a lot of hours in that, and I transfer all these hours to managing all these different jobs that I have, and also studying when I have to. So that's one way lah. So my advice to a lot of people who find that they don't have enough time to manage different commitments is to cut out things that don't lead to your end goal. I'm still working on it, but definitely cut out very basic things. I mean, unless K-drama leads you to become a better actress and you want to be a good actress in the future, right? Okay, then keep watching your K-drama. But if it's just for pure joy but no returns on it, right? Or then I would say consider reducing all these hours and putting it to somewhere that's more valuable.
And the second question, you have any practices or maybe daily habits that allow you to work smart, to keep on task?
I guess for me, I value efficiency and productivity over perfectionism. I'm not a detail-oriented person, and I think that's why I need a co-founder and a partner who can fill in that gap to be detail-oriented. But I like to get things done fast, so that means trying to cut down on procrastination, which I still do once in a while. But I try to get things going as fast as I can, and to the best of my abilities lah. So it doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but if it's like 80% done and 80% there and it's good enough to be presented, right, I'll just go for ahead with that plan already. Same thing in my startup. So I'm not waiting for a perfect idea, perfect minimum viable product before I get started. If it's somewhere there enough to get tested and enough to talk to people about this idea and to ask for opinions, I'll just go ahead with it already.
Okay, can. So act and be efficient and not overthink things lah.
Yeah, definitely.
Is presence important? You talked about segmentation earlier. When you do one thing, do you present?
Yeah, so I mean, when you were mentioning the things I do, and I guess I do share that on LinkedIn as well, of all the slash career that I have, right? It's not that I do all of that at one point in time. It's more like at a certain point in life, right? Maybe at the start of last year, the first half of last year when I was still exploring DJing, I really went all out and I spin like maybe 2-3 shows per week and try to hone that craft a bit more. And then towards the second half of the year, I'm focusing on acting, star search. So at different points in time, right, I have different focuses and a different priority list, and that shuffles.
Sure.
So perhaps for now, my priority is definitely school, social media, because I realize social media helped me in a lot of other ways, and also business and trying to expose myself to internship opportunities and mentorship. So those are my top 3, and everything else will be things that like I can do without.
Got it.
So as much as there are so many things that I tried, right, it's not all at one time.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's very valuable advice. Prioritizing at different things at certain points and being aware of where your focus is, I would say.
Yeah.
All right. I would say one last question on this segment before we go into the final Q&A. You seem a very confident, independent person, but are there times where you face doubt or certain low points, or in pursuing new things? Can be entrepreneurship, can be anything that you do. Were there any low points that you face, and how do you deal with it?
Well, actually, definitely. I think I don't really have very unconfident moments, but I do have low moments where I just feel lousy or I crack under the pressure because it's so much of work and not enough time, And I think how I manage to cope with those is really through my friends and support system. And that's why I'm a huge believer of what you're doing, because I really think this support system is really what gets people through the tough times.
Sure.
Being an entrepreneur or someone who's in the media, or especially at a more nascent age, right, it's not going to be easy. You're going to be shut down. You're going to feel inferior. A lot of challenges that come by your way. And the only way to get through it is to talk to people when you are facing problems. And that's what I did. I'm very open with my problems with my friends. And they do give me advice. Or even if they don't, they are great listening ears to help me air out my thoughts. And also perhaps speaking to mentors who give me good advice and help me see the light at the end of the tunnel, and also providing me with the opportunities to hone all these hard skills, through little projects that I sign up for, that when mentors or networks present me, even if I don't get any money out of it and I do put in extra hours to it, right, I learn something along the way. I think the only way to get through all these tough moments for me was really to speak to people and to absorb as much positivity and experience from my friends and mentors.
Okay, thank you for sharing. That's really valuable advice. I know I keep using it, but I really do mean it, especially for youth. Yeah, so thank you for sharing that. With that, we've come to the final segment of the podcast.
Yay! I'm very excited.
Yes. Some quick fire questions, 30 to 45 seconds. Can go a bit beyond, it's okay. I'm going to ask you 8 questions revolving around advice for pursuing your dream and passion, right? Especially for youth. So, are you ready?
Yes, I'm so excited. I wish I have a red buzzer to press right now.
Yes. Okay, so the first question, how can youth begin to discover their passions?
I think it's a numbers game. Try as many things as you like, and then eventually you find 1 or 2 things that you really, really are passionate about.
Advice to youth dealing with self-doubt or fear?
Talk to people with similar problems, and talk to people who are more confident or positive than you, and this positivity will usually seep through you.
Okay. What's one mantra or mindset that you live by?
Oh, wow. I don't think there's really a mantra, but I think the 2 words is why not?
Mm, okay. You believe in the value of building meaningful connections. Why? And how can one begin to build their networks and connections?
I guess you really have to start by enjoying speaking to people and listening to people's stories. And building relationship is the core to anyone's success. I think most people get to where they are because of the relationship and network they have. That's kind of common stories that I hear from successful entrepreneurs and investors that I speak to. And I think you really have to just enjoy listening to people's stories. So I think to get started is two formula. Okay, the first one is to be a good listener. Okay,
Mm,
stop talking about stuff sometimes and start listening to people. Secondly, is to be confident and bold and take a first step by asking people out for coffee. So you have to put in effort to reach out to people as well.
okay. What does resilience mean to you?
Um, I think it's the mental capacity to get through uh, different obstacles and also to stretch yourself further and further and further nonstop and basically having this this tenacity to get by all the tough times.
Got it. And how can one develop that?
I think you can only get by and to build resilience only through failures.
I love the answer. I talk about it all the time.
Very
Um,
simple.
yeah. You're known for your generosity and the value you provide to others and constantly provide. Like why do you give back?
I love people. I'm simply a people person, a social animal, if you say. And I find a lot of joy, and people give me a lot of value in terms of their time, their energy, and their positivity. And it makes me happy seeing people smile, and that's why I give back because
Sure.
I'm simply a people person.
Okay. So last question. What drives or excites you most about what you do?
What excites me the most is how fast paced everything goes by, and sometimes it feels like life flashes past me. I don't know how to put it into words, but it's very chilling, working on a new project or like facing challenges and getting hurdles thrown at me. I find chill in that, in problem solving and going on a very fast paced journey in business and media and many more.
Is there any motivation behind that? Or is just the truth itself?
I think the motivation is ultimately be a successful story and also to leave an impact in the world for other people.
Okay. Right, with that, we've come to the end of the podcast.
Awesome! Thank you
Thank
so
you
much for
so
having
much,
me.
Vanessa, for
I
spending
really
this time.
enjoyed this. Yeah, I really enjoyed this 1 hour with you, and there's so much more I can learn from you as well. And also to all the audience listening out, thank you so much for your time, and I really hope you gain something out of me or from my little stories. But do reach out at any point in time if you just want to have coffee and just talk about anything under the sun.
Yeah. Thank you again, Vanessa. You can reach out to her on LinkedIn or Instagram. Just type in her name. It's the first one that will appear. So with that, we've come to the end of the podcast. Subscribe, I guess, for future episodes if you enjoy it. Stay healthy, stay resilient, and we'll see you next time. Right? Bye.
Bye.